an alternate theory has been floating around the internet the last few days. And I think it's worth at least talking about. And this is about how the Niners got Trey Lance. Now, the prevailing theory is that Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones and was overruled at the end by everyone in the organization, and that's why they took Trey Lance. This theory, which has been floating around there and in the interwebs, is that it was the opposite. That the organization, in particular, the general manager, John Lynch, wanted Mac Jones, and that Kyle wanted Trey Lance. Look, I don't know if it's true. We don't know anything. We don't know what happened. But it's interesting that someone brought this up. And if you it kind of makes you retrace the entire offseason, like at the end of Usual Suspects, where he drops the mug and he's like, oh my God, the guy. Anyway, do you think this is possible? Because the other theory, the theory that Kyle wanted Mac Jones and got overruled, only works if you think there's a reality where Kyle Shanahan gets overruled in his own organization, which is a stretch. So this is plausible because it puts Kyle back in the position of power. Go ahead. What do you think?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, anything looks like
anything's possible, right? Yeah.
Right. I think if that's the case, it would give me more hope because I believe your coach has to believe in you.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
And for me, it would be more important that Kyle is all in on Trey Lance than if John Lynch was all in and Trey Lance. So I think if that's true, then it gives them some hope. And if I were the Yorks, I would lean more toward keeping Kyle if that was the case. Because one of the biggest things is if he really does want Mac, I can't have you here because you got to believe.
I need someone who wants Trey. Someone who wants Trey. So whoever.
Now, okay. Is it Kyle's camp doing damage control and
possible? Let me go through let's go through the year and see if we can find some evidence to support this theory. Let's see if there's any evidence to support this theory. All right. So when they had the pre-draft press conference right after taking Trey Lance, and if you go back and watch it, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan gets to say what they liked about him. And John Lynch he says, when I evaluate quarterbacks, I like to really look at the plays they're running and figure out where the ball's supposed to go and figure out if he's going there more often than not. And with Trey Lance, what really stuck out was his skill set. Really big, really strong, really fast, and his personality. He's got a CEO type personality that was just so impressive. So it's an interesting answer. It's like, this is what I look for. This is what Trey has, kind of a non sequitur. And this is what I like about him, his skill set and his personality. Kyle at the same press conference said, I evaluate all these guys the same. And I know there's not a lot of film on Trey, but there's not a lot of film on Mac Jones and Justin Fields either. And I just give, pluses and minuses. And there were a lot more pluses and minuses with Trey. It just seemed like kind of a genuine answer. That's one thing.
And Kyle he is pretty genuine.
He's not good at lying.
No, to a fault.
Yeah.
And I think
I got more. John said Kyle wanted Trey Lance since January, right? It's been his guy since January. When we went to see Justin Fields, Kyle was drawing plays up for Trey Lance after. This is what John said. He volunteered this information. It's not like I love Trey Lance. Kyle loves him. That's been his drum that he's been beating all offseason. Kyle freaking loves Trey Lance. And we're thinking, oh, he's lying for Kyle. That's such a good. What if he's telling the truth?
Yeah, and I think there's also they specifically talked about them not
talking to Mac,
right?
Sorry. And they went to the Alabama's pro day and didn't say a word to Nick Saban. Didn't say a word to him. Yeah. Right? Kyle went there, didn't talk to Nick Saban. Kyle went to Fields and was thinking about Trey Lance, apparently, according to the
legend. Drawing plays on the plane. And they talked about him not telling his coaches who he wanted as well.
Right.
So there's that, and then there's just the fact that they actually drafted Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, right? But there's more. There's more. To me, and the Shanahans will never admit it, but when they scout quarterbacks, they look for something very specific. Can you line up under center, and can you do the play action stuff where you turn your back, and are you comfortable rolling left and rolling right? They don't talk about it. But if you don't show these things on tape in college, they're like, I don't know if I can't coach that. You either can do that or you can't. And that's what CJ Beathard could do. That's what CJ could do. If you watched the highlights at Iowa, it's the first 45 seconds, play action roll left, play action roll right. It's okay. And then with Lance, that's what he did in college. It's not what Mac Jones did in college. Mac Jones was in the gun. He was in the pistol. He didn't roll out. I'm just saying, when I finally started watching Trey Lance, I tweeted it. Kyle's going to love this guy. The Shanahans are going to love this guy because they see right away, oh, he can turn his back to the defense. Mm-hmm. And it's not a good way, honestly, to evaluate quarterbacks, but I'm fairly confident that that's a very important thing that they look for.
And he runs a lot. They ran a lot of their same concepts, and then which they don't use when they do play him. Kyle does the Kyle thing.
Okay.
He's like, no, we're not going to do that.
So ultimately, this theory doesn't matter. How the Niners got Trey Lance doesn't really matter. The issue is, why aren't they playing him? Like, what happened to someone in the organization really liked him to, we're not even going to let him compete? To me, my best guess is that the locker room just vetoed this. It could have been Mac Jones. It could have been Justin Fields. From the locker room's perspective, we should have won that Super Bowl. Last year was an aberration. Give us one more chance to prove ourselves, and bringing in a new quarterback doesn't let us do that. In fact, it's a condemnation of us from our own organization.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's that, or Kyle is so protective of Lance, and he just does. But I think it's probably more so your theory is that it's so locker room is so pro Jimmy, or just the fact that you would. I think just the fact that you would trot out a rookie quarterback, even no matter who it was, even if it was Mac Jones, like just the fact that you would trot out a rookie quarterback. The Patriots aren't where the Niners thought that.
Cam Newton had no equity built up in that organization. I mean, he'd been there for
It's not even that, but they were talking about a Super Bowl roster in New England. They weren't talking about a Super Bowl roster, right?
No,
talking about a Super Bowl roster here in San Francisco. In New England, they weren't. So there was just a different mindset to that team and different mindset to this team where you could insert a rookie quarterback. And I don't know that Shanahan has built up enough equity to just switch it up like that.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to move on, but we don't want to talk about tinfoil hat theories too much. But if this is true, I think it's encouraging for 49er fans because that does mean that the coach is all in with the quarterback. If the coach is being subversive to the quarterback like Kyle's been in the past, then he's got to go. He's got to go now. I wouldn't want him coaching any Trey Lance games this season. But if that's not the case, if he actually does want Trey Lance and we just didn't get it, okay, man. All right, Kyle, I get it. Fine. But we're never going to know for sure. So kind of show us at some point with how you coach him. Show us. How about that?